All right, Kola, it's good to have you on the podcast today. Again, is Abegwhosendme. Abegwhosendme is a podcast for entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs. And it's good to have somebody in the media space, who understands the entrepreneurial mindset. So, Kola, straight to the point. How do we as entrepreneurs leverage on media? So because for me, and I'm sure for a lot of entrepreneurs, the media is like that big space. You're looking at the TV, you're looking at newspaper, and you are sure that the marketing budget will run into millions, and you are probably still thinking of how to survive the next day. But then there's a lot of advantage to it. Yes, we see. But then how do we handle these things? How do we not break the bank and make the most of media, especially now that media is now in different forms? We have the traditional media, we have you know what I mean, Kola. So what do you say we do as entrepreneurs?
Thank you again, Titilayo, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on this program,
You're most
be on
welcome.
this podcast to discuss entrepreneurship and how to and media leverage.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in the media space for quite some time now, and for a young person like myself, it's I am at a vantage position where I'm working with superiors who are old school,
Uh-huh.
like who old school, and I'm at the same time people I work with, people who are my friends, people I went to school with. They are new generation guys. They are new media guys. They
Mm-hmm.
are tech savvy,
The
social media savvy.
the tech age guys.
Exactly. So it so it is not uncommon for me to be able to strike a balance between appeasing my old school superiors and my um tech new tech tech age guys.
Your new
So
school tech age guys.
thank you, my old school tech age guys. So one thing I've always seen is that you know um my generation of should I say youth now, we tend to give little regard to traditional media. So for the sake of this discussion, I will just um, divide media into two: the
Okay.
traditional media and the new. So when we talk about the traditional media, we're talking about the newspapers. Let me just put newspapers and magazines generally for the
Okay.
traditional media. Then under the new media, I would put social media as the major category, even though we have some other aspects. But let me just put it newspapers versus social media.
Social media. Okay.
Let me streamline it to
Okay.
those two.
So newspaper
So
and TV, I'm guessing they're on the same side. That's yeah.
yes, newspaper and
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
On one side, that's
On one side,
traditional media.
yeah, traditional media.
Of course, traditional media, we have the print media, the broadcast media. The print media has to do with newspapers, broadcast media has to do with radio and TV.
On TV. Oh yeah, radio.
And then under new media, we have social media, we have some other platforms, we have blogs,
Okay.
we have other content platforms that you can easily express yourself.
Okay. Do we say podcast too is an example of a new media?
Yes, this podcast too falls under new media.
Okay.
So one thing I've come to discover is that first, this one even cuts across both traditional and new media. Many entrepreneurs, they belittle marketing and PR, or should I say they do not fully understand the importance of marketing and PR. PR
Right.
meaning public relations.
Very true.
So now, when you see people, when you see budgets of fintechs, for instance, you see them highlighting, let's say, $1,000 for senior programmer, uh, 500 $500 per week for for the product manager and so
Mm-hmm.
on. And then you get to the content guy, and then you see $50, you see $30.
Well, it's not hardcore.
And then for someone like myself, I've been approached many times by many of my guys that, oh, Kola, this is your thing. Please, I need you to help me put up this article, this something. And
Mm-hmm.
then they'll be like, and then I tell them, okay, oh, this will cost you. Imagine this will cost you 50K.
Okay.
And then they'll be like, is it not to just put it on the website on the
Yes.
for it to why is it reading the newspaper?
Uh-huh.
And then I'll say, he,
I can see
but
myself
you know,
in their shoes.
then you look, and then you look at their budget for other things, and then you now wonder that, okay, so if you can spend this amount of money on, so it shows that entrepreneurs they give little regard to to the media aspect of their business, which mainly has to do with publicity and PR. Let me chip in this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I am a volunteer for Nkowa Oku. It's an Igbo API.
Okay.
It's a platform where we are using technology to enhance and digitize the Igbo language.
Mm.
Quite interestingly, I'm not Igbo, and I don't
Igbo.
speak Igbo,
Wow.
and I don't even on the content team. So I am part of the content strategy team.
Okay.
So I write for them. So now, one thing that I was able to meet the founder Ijema Owuzuluke. I had an interview with her. So I was able our paths crossed quite early into the startup. So I was able to sort of open our eyes to because you can be doing a lot in terms of the engine, in terms of the operations, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
coding, in terms of
Yes.
all these things. You don't know what you are doing. I mean, it will be futile.
Mm.
So, as what you are doing is brilliant, as much as it is important to be excellent in the services that you are providing, it is equally important that it is visible to the right people at the right time.
Mm.
And so, I would just say that first, entrepreneurs need to change before even going into the nitty-gritty. Entrepreneurs need to change their perspective, their mentality of the media. I mean, because these things are as important. Marketing and PR are as important as the core services of a startup.
Mm.
So, I'll just move on to say that, okay, now there's one thing that traditional media do, and that is credibility.
Aha.
So, for instance, now you give me your name, the name of your business, I Google it, and then I see that Linda Ekeji has talked about. I see that Igbo News has talked about it. I see Apropos Doctor has talked about it. But I cannot find a Punch, I cannot find a Tribune, I cannot find a Guardian talk about it. And then your competitor comes to me with the same thing. I Google it, and then I see Guardian, I see Punch, I see Tribune, I
Mm.
see this day, I see Business Day. I'm immediately convinced, you don't need to talk too much to me,
Very true.
that in fact, of course, there are loopholes to these things, but
Yes.
immediately I will be convinced that, oh, for Punch to have talked about this guy, for Forbes to have talked about
This
this
guy.
guy,
There's
for
something
Tribune to
there.
have actually there's something there. And
Mm.
then, because as someone who knows the inside, my others, my superiors in the media space are old school. So if you are bringing anything fishy to them, they will tell you straight that we do not use this one. That this one doesn't look straight. So even the media gatekeepers, they usually, I'm using the adverb usually, not all the time, usually vet everything that goes up on the traditional media space. So you can't just, it is different, for a Pulse, for a YNaija, for a Bella Nigeria, they can upload anything, they just put sponsored. So the sponsored is that they are distancing themselves.
Oh,
And
yeah.
hardly would you hear a federal government suing Pulse, or a federal government suing YNaija, or a federal government suing anything like this. Hardly would you hear it. I mean, not that it doesn't happen, but but if it were a Punch, if it were a Guardian, if it were a Business Day, as in, you would see the government fighting tooth and nail, especially if the information disseminated would not be true. You will see the noise. We demand an apology, public apology. So you see. I mean, you see all the noise and all the fanfare and all the silence. So I'm coming from the point of credibility. So traditional media give you credit. That's why many people strive to go on radio, to go on TV. I mean, once you see people speak on channels, there's this air of conviction you have that going on channels is a big deal.
It's a big
so
deal,
for
exactly.
On channels,
yeah, what your salt?
Exactly. But for someone who works in the media space, trust me, it is not a big deal. Like, it is not a big deal. If you want to go on channels this week, I can make it happen.
Whoa. Oh, really?
The only thing is not project. That's the only thing. If you want to go on Arise, Titilayo, it can happen. It's just money. So I still come back to my mentality. So the difference is that many people think it's a big deal, but so even people think it's a big deal. One, number two is that they just trivialize it. Let us focus on more important things. And there are people who have the mentality that some people, interestingly, why many. Okay, let me use this example of some Ponzi schemes. They invest so much on the publicity than the services they actually offer.
That's true, very true.
And then before you know it, they are all over, screaming in your face. Social media, Facebook, even newspaper.
And that makes people even fall harder because they feel these people are everywhere. Exactly. They should be legit.
But the services are counterfeit. They are not genuine. So on the flip side, you have people offering genuine services, but their publicity is one. So you can see the two sides, the two extremes now.
Yes.
So first, our mentality as entrepreneurs our mentality needs to change. At the same time, we need to understand that marketing, publicity, PR, they deserve a budget of their own. Like it deserves serious attention. Like there should be one person in charge of this thing. That media and publicity, you guys are in charge of it. So it means that virtually, I've run some campaigns for some startups that over the course of like 4 times 3, that's 12, right?
Yeah.
4 weeks. So over the 3 months, every story was going out in the traditional media every week, from week 1 to week 12. So the budget was something above $500,000 thereabouts.
Okay.
And but it's not a big deal. So because you see, so it's not a big deal. So I just see that once we can realize, or once we can acknowledge that the media is a big deal to our business, to what we are doing. And of course, it has telling effects on, reach, on brand visibility, among other things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would just say that there's some cheap ways through which businesses can leverage the media.
Please dwell on the cheap ways, because my mind is just calculating. Okay, so Kola has brought forward a strong point about credibility, about brand visibility, about the fact that you don't light a lamp and put it under your bed. You let people see it. Yes, but then my brain is calculating the money. Uh, you know, university.
Right.
No, that's how we entrepreneurs are wired, especially at a certain stage. It's all about the money, the profit and loss. You are calculating every kobo, every penny. So yeah, it's good, but if there's a cheap way to go about it, please far away. We want to hear.
Okay. Um, so the first is the easiest way. The easiest way is networking. That's one cheap way. Is
Networking.
networking.
How?
Like networking means you roll with media. Yeah, networking with media guys. That would and sometimes these things they do not necessarily cost much. Sometimes if you just read the name on the page, you see the name of the page editor and the number, you can just reach out that hi, blah blah blah. I have a profile that I have a profile that you could find interesting. The way you present it too would have you would have implied that it's not as if I have money anywhere. It's just that I will only. In other words, you rub my back, I rub your back. That we could be useful for each other. So yeah, sometimes it could be just reaching out. That's what it will cost. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, networking, reaching out, it can help. Yeah. So I
Okay.
think for now those are the options I can come up with.
Okay.
The rest, because the media generally is not a cheap space, so to speak.
Yes.
So, and at the same time, people too often make the mistake. I'm going forward now. People
Okay.
also make the mistake. Uh, People also make the mistake of in leveraging media for your business. You need to know the kind of business you're doing, the kind of media that fits your business. So if you're into
Very
tech
true.
now, definitely you're into tech now. We have the likes of Tech Cabal, Tech Points, Tech Crunch in the United States, that are tech oriented. So if you're into tech and you are doing your publicity on Linda Kids, you're already going amiss.
Mm,
Yeah,
very true.
you're going amiss. So, but if you are into fashion now, number one destination should be Bella. Bella Nigeria is one of the top like fashion
Fashion.
visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Bella Nigeria is so if you are looking toward let's say appealing to youth, why Nigeria will tell you that what the streets are saying, stuff like that. So you can also look towards that line. So depending on what you want to do, you need to also highlight, or you need to identify the kind of media outlets that fit your business. So that one is very very
Very
important.
imperative. Mm.
Yeah, very, very important that you highlight, you identify the kind of business that fits what you want to do. So, yeah, so one of the ways I'll just highlight ways that, businesses can leverage the media in your first interviews.
Interviews. Okay.
You talk about yourself, talk about yourself, you know, your passion. You can make it more like a statement of interest. When you're applying to schools abroad, they will tell you to submit personal goal statement. You
Mm-hmm.
talk about how your business started, moving stories. Some entrepreneurs when they grant into like sorry 5 words and can we meet you? My name is Titilayo Ekundayo. I am the CEO of Fresh Chow.
Mm.
We are based in Lagos State. Thank you. And then I hired to start the business. I after finishing school, I studied nutrition at school. After finishing school, I just felt, let me start. I mean, I started, and here we are. And it's very boring. Sometimes,
I get.
sometimes you now wonder, tell moving stories that
Mm.
people will read, they can easily relate to it. They can, that will sound convincing that you are not in this business for flimsy reasons or for because of unemployment, even
Mm-hmm.
though unemployment drove many people into business
Into
actually, but
business.
you
Mm-hmm.
need to show pride that, oh, you are passionate about this thing. Like, let it show in your words, not shallow interviews,
Shallow.
that shallow responses.
Mm.
Then from interviews, press releases, articles, you know, these are ways that you can leverage the media, and occasionally you can drop opinions. Opinions position you to be a thought leader in a space. So,
Okay.
for instance, now, let's say, for instance, now, let's say something came up in the country. Let's say, okay, this issue of people jackpying, people leaving the country,
Mm-hmm.
the brain drain that Nigeria
Brain
is
drain.
currently experiencing.
Experiencing, yeah.
Yeah, come up with a nice article, just an opinion, pass it out in the media, let people go through it. 1 or 2% will see it, and they'll be like, oh wow, I mean, these guys. So if I've read your article somewhere before, and then I see your name on a business, I'm easily impressed. That, oh
Very true.
wow, I mean, I read this guy, oh, this is a sound guy, stuff like that. So it is why you see big wigs like Ebunolu Adegboruwa SAN, you see Afe Babalola SAN, you
Mm.
see Obadaya Melafia of blessed memory, former deputy governor of the CBN. You see guys like that constantly putting out opinions in the media to tell you that, oh, what's happening, just to position themselves that, oh,
Themselves as
wow,
thought
yeah,
leaders.
exactly, as thought leaders. Thank you. So you see the likes of, let me bring it down to, you see the likes of Chude Gideon of Red Media.
Mm-hmm.
You see, who else can I make reference to? Some other guys, I can't recollect me. So you see guys like that, constantly putting out, opinions that, oh, this is how, stuff should be. So yes, these are one of the ways that, you can leverage
Leverage
the
media.
media. So yeah, so I think let me just talk briefly on the new media, briefly,
Okay.
and so for new media, of course, I'll start with the social media. Of course, social media is everything now. Social media is like the unstoppable phenomenon of our generation. So there is no avoiding social media. So businesses, of course, businesses need to be on social media, and but it is not important to only be on social media. It is more important to be active. Let me cite this instance. Before the Davido Wema donation saga,
Saga.
I
Mm-hmm.
have before that Davido fundraising, Wema, the last time Wema Bank posted on their social media account was June.
Whoa. And I think the video saga happened November. That was last month.
And that was last month. Was
Ah.
June. That was the last. That was the last time they posted. Was
Ah.
June. So when the video happened, we now started scrambling. They were scrambling for content strategy. Some of them had to go to Dubai to go meet the video. But we say something that opportunity meets preparation.
Yes.
So they were very fortunate with that one. That it was circumstance. The video picking Wema Bank,
Wema Bank. Mm-hmm. For
for
the
his
donation.
fundraising. That's
Mm-hmm.
happened. Yeah, exactly. It's sheer luck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's to tell you. So it's not enough to be on social media. You need to be active on it, and then trends are everything. So the trend is everything on social media now. There was the half world challenge. There was the Love What Eating challenge. there was this high challenge. So there are many challenges on social media that businesses can plug in depending on their selling points, depending on the kind of business that they can plug in. So these trends would also give brands visibility. It will give their content visibility. So it could, I was also, so another thing I was going to mention was also using influencer marketing. Yeah, so influencer marketing is a bit expensive, but I
It's
believe
very
depending on the budget,
it's not a bit though. I think it's very expensive.
it depends on,
The
it
budget.
can be a one-off now.
Okay,
Depends
that's
on
true.
even grades of influencers. You the money you play Black Camaro will not be the same money you pay Keith Daniel now,
That's true. That's true.
right?
That's true.
So there are grades of influencer marketing too. And then there are some low-key guys, excuse me, even on social media, that they are still up and coming. I was going through Facebook, I saw one lady, Paramount Comedy, and I felt, okay, this one said, and she already has like maybe hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook.
Wow.
So, but I think influencer marketing is even a stretch. But I think if brands and entrepreneurs can, maximize, the points I've mentioned already, interviews, press releases, articles, then yeah, social media ads, very, very important. I think one of the most aggressive brands when it comes to social media ads is Kuda. Kuda is very, very aggressive. If you are playing game, you will see Kuda. As in game. I was
LinkedIn, everywhere they are there.
very, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. So, I mean, social media hats is, so if you can't, why social media hats might be a bit expensive, maximizing trends is less expensive, it's a cheaper option. So you just plug into trends, catchy copywriting, catchy copies, just to throw. I don't. Techno was doing one thing. Has been doing one thing recently. Quite, although it's a bit on the ridiculous, if you ask me. And Apple, they're throwing bands at Samsung. I mean, these guys are way bigger than you. They can buy all of you, like everything.
Like all of you together and still collect change.
As they together, of course, combined. So, but then, even if I would not necessarily go that path, go that direction when for content strategy, for content and marketing strategy. But in a way, it still got people to talk about it. That what's wrong with techno? What's wrong with techno? Why are you throwing bands at your grandfather?
So bad publicity is the
yeah.
publicity.
Exactly, bad publicity is the publicity too. So yeah, those are cheaper options that brands can also utilize. So I think let me stop here. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kola. It's really has been enlightening and educative, and I think you've reminded us again, because it's usually in our habits as entrepreneurs to budget last. I think people in the tech space have understood that you need to be in people's faces, but those that are more in the tech-enabled businesses, we are learning, or we are still very slow at learning the power and the effects that leveraging media would give us. So thank you for such an enlightening discussion.